Distinguished faculty members, honored guests, and most importantly, the brilliant graduating class of UC San Diego School of Medicine. Welcome to our 53rd annual commencement ceremony. I am Dr. Michelle Daniel, Vice Dean for Medical Education, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. We are gathered to celebrate our graduating seniors, and we owe them the best day possible. Actions that prevent our ceremony from proceeding, speakers from being heard, or interfere with students crossing the stage will only deprive our graduates and all who care about them of this very special acknowledgement of their achievement. So I thank you in advance for your respect and keeping this celebration focused on our seniors' accomplishments. Graduating seniors, on behalf of the School of Medicine's faculty and staff, congratulations on what you have achieved during your time here. You not only succeeded, you excelled during an unprecedented time. You navigated a pandemic and helped serve our communities in their hour of greatest need. You advocated to right inequities and sought justice for Black Lives Matter. You spoke out against climate change after a devastating season of drought and forest fires across our beloved California. You rallied to protect women's rights as the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And you aided refugees at the border fleeing a war in Ukraine. You've also shown compassion and empathy for those affected by the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Throughout these troubled times, you have made us very proud. You are standouts, and the events of the past 4 years will emblazon your class forever in our minds. We honor and appreciate your gifts, and we have the utmost respect for your remarkable resilience and flexibility. You will have the opportunity to hear from many of the individuals behind me during this morning's ceremony, but please allow me to introduce the members of the platform party and ask them to rise when their names are announced. Pradeep K. Khosla, Chancellor of UC San Diego. And we are going to have a very long ceremony today. We have the largest graduating class ever, so I am going to ask that you hold your applause for the next few minutes. John M. Carruthers, Vice Chancellor for Health Sciences. Stephen Garfin, Interim Dean of the School of Medicine. Laura Vater, our commencement speaker from the Indiana University School of Medicine. Judy Kim, Dean of the Graduate Division. Kama Galuma, Associate Dean for Admissions and Student Affairs. Sean Evans, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education. Maria Rosario Happy Araneta, Associate Dean for Diversity and Community Partnerships. Paul Insel, Co-Director of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Luis Castellanos, Director of the Program in Medical Education Prime Health Equity. Sarah Auerbach, Director of Global Health Academic Concentration. Alana Eglovitz, Director of Wellness Initiatives. Christopher Kane, Dean for Clinical Affairs. And our academic community directors, Joseph Chachi, Orange Community. Jorge Fernandez, Green Community. Gina Frugoni, Yellow Community. James Murphy, Blue Community. Lori Wan, Purple Community. Catherine Winters, Red Community, and Jeffrey Krebs, School of Medicine Alumni Board. Helen Wang, Dean's Award for Excellence in Teaching recipient, and our Kaiser Excellence in Teaching Award recipients, Joffrey Noel, the MS1 selectee, Jeffrey Gold, the MS2 selectee, Julia Cormano, the MS3 selectee, and Michelle Wu, the MS4 selectee, and Jedediah Bell, House Staff Selectee, and Samara Soros, House Staff Selectee. I would also like to recognize the special guests in the audience today, including emeritus deans, faculty, department chairs, current faculty, and alumni. Thank you for being here to celebrate with our graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Chancellor, Pradeep Khosla. He is an internationally renowned electrical and computer engineer. He is an elected member of several distinguished academies and the recipient of innumerable awards for his leadership, teaching, and research. He is an innovator and a strategic thinker, always pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Chancellor Khosla has expanded UC San Diego's vision to be a student-centered, service-oriented public university, not just a research-focused institution, which improves opportunities for all. Please welcome Chancellor Pradeep Khosla.
Okay, I lost my notes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Daniel. And good morning, esteemed faculty, proud faculty members, and most importantly, our outstanding UC San Diego School of Medicine graduates. Today, we celebrate a major milestone in your lives. You have worked tirelessly to reach this moment, and I'm honored to stand before you as you embark on the next chapter of your careers. Today, you're not just graduating from one of the top medical schools in the country. You are part of a legacy of excellence, a legacy that has been shaping the future of healthcare for decades. And your unwavering dedication to your studies, your passion for healing, and your dedication to serving others has prepared you to make a profound impact on this world. Throughout your time at UC San Diego, you demonstrated a deep commitment to healthcare excellence and social responsibility. You spent countless hours honing your skills and pushing the boundaries of medical knowledge. You volunteered countless hours at our free medical clinics, providing critical care to those who need it the most. And you participated in health fairs and community outreach programs, educating and empowering people to take control of your health. And you did all of this with compassion, empathy, and a steadfast dedication to health equity. And to parents, if you wondered why your graduate never called you, you see how busy they were. They were really busy, working literally day and night. So, as you move forward, remember that you're not just healthcare professionals, you are leaders. You are leaders who are equipped to transform lives. You are leaders who are prepared to innovate. And you are leaders who are ready to drive positive change in your communities and beyond. And you are leaders who are the future of healthcare. And I have no doubt that you will be leaving a lasting positive impact on your communities and the world around you. So, as you embark on the next chapter of your lives, I hope you will stay connected, return often, to share your experiences, to provide mentorship to other Titans who are following you in your footsteps, and to inspire the next generation of healthcare heroes and leaders with your success. UC San Diego is your university and will always be your university. And we will need your help to continue pushing the boundaries of what is possible in medical education and medical research. So as you go out into the world, I offer you a few final words. Never stop learning, never stop growing, never stop striving to make a difference, but do start calling home and do start calling your parents every so often. We are also proud of you, and you should be proud of yourselves. So congratulations to the graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Khosla. I would now like to introduce Dr. Stephen Garfin, Interim Dean for the School of Medicine. Dr. Garfin is a renowned spine surgeon and researcher, as well as former chair of the Department of Orthopedics. I know him to be a kind, thoughtful, and humble leader, traits which, as physicians, we should all emulate. Please join me in welcoming Dean Garfin.
Thanks, Michelle. Graduates, soon to be graduates, I guess. The Chancellor hasn't said it formally yet. We know you're excited for what lies ahead. Your careers and adventures are just beginning. Your education and experiences at the School of Medicine have helped prepare you for your next chapters, not just as residents, but as lifelong professional learners, practitioners, and engaged community partners. You know of our three stated academic missions: education, research, and clinical care. There is a fourth, which we also hope you have learned here. Social determinants, or as we learned last night, influencers of health and service to the community, which includes understanding the medical effects of social behavior and environment, local and global public health, serving the underserved, appreciating the value, importance, and richness of diversity, and reaching into untapped areas with new initiatives and understanding. As you go out in the world, you will take the knowledge and skills you have acquired here, empathy and compassion, deductive reasoning, the scientific approach, mentoring skills, public service, and others, and put them to use. You will now be entering the most exciting, diverse, and rewarding profession, a career in medicine as doctors. 39 of you are staying in San Diego County for your primary residencies, including 33 within UC San Diego Health. That means many of you will get the chance to provide patient care in our Jacobs Medical Center and its associated complexes, the Komen Family Outpatient Pavilion, the Altman Clinical and Translational Research Institute, and some or parts of the new Hillcrest growing facilities. 67% of you are remaining in California, continuing our school's commitment to bringing the best medical care to communities throughout the state. No matter what path your career takes, you will be facing exciting, new challenges and opportunities. All of us are proud of each of you. I hope that you share that pride, not just in your own achievements, but also in your classmates and in the University of California, San Diego, and the School of Medicine. Thank you in advance, and congratulations for who you are and what you will be doing.
Thank you, Dean Garfin. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chancellor for Health Sciences, Dr. John Carruthers. Vice Chancellor Carruthers joined us last year after a long and distinguished tenure as chair of the Department of Medicine at the University of Michigan. He is an incredibly accomplished researcher, scholar, and gastroenterologist. He has served as president of both the Association of American Physicians and the American Gastroenterological Association. He was also elected to the prestigious National Academy of Medicine. More important than his accomplishments, however, are his leadership qualities. He is an inclusive listener who is compassionate, empathetic, and a champion of equity. Please join me in welcoming Vice Chancellor Carruthers.
Good morning, esteemed faculty, proud families, friends, and most importantly, the remarkable class of 2024. As Dean Daniels mentioned, my name is John Carruthers, Vice Chancellor here, and I want to welcome you to our profession on one of the greatest days of your life, the day that the medical doctorate degree is conferred upon you, back there. Not in front. Today is a day of immense pride and celebration, made even more remarkable by the fact that this is the largest graduating class in our school's history. As I stand here, I am filled with deep admiration for each one of you. Your journey through medical school has been marked by relentless dedication, countless hours of study, and a profound commitment to the art and science of healing. It is truly an honor to address all of you today. Reflecting on my own journey, I remember the mix of exhilaration and trepidation as I stepped into the world of medicine. The path ahead was unknown, filled with challenges and unexpected turns, yet also brimming with opportunities to make a difference. I see the same spark in all of your eyes today, a blend of hope, determination, and a readiness to take on whatever comes your way. You are entering the medical profession at a time of rapid change and unprecedented challenges. The recent years have tested the resilience and adaptability of healthcare systems worldwide. Yet amidst the trials, you have witnessed the power of innovation, the importance of empathy, and the strength of a united community. You have seen how critical your role will be in shaping the future of healthcare. As you move forward, remember that the essence of medicine lies in the relationships you build with your patients. Your knowledge and skills are vital, but it is your compassion, your ability to listen, and your genuine care that will leave the lasting impact. Be the doctor who not only treats the illness, but also comforts the soul. I encourage you to embrace lifelong learning. Medicine is a constantly evolving field, and staying curious, open-minded, and willing to learn will be the key to your success and fulfillment. Collaborate with your peers, seek mentorship, and never hesitate to ask questions. Every patient, every colleague, and every experience will teach you something valuable. And finally, take care of yourselves. The road you are about to embark on is a demanding one, and at times, overwhelming. Prioritize your well-being, lean on your support systems, and find balance in your life. Your ability to care for others is deeply connected to how well you care for yourself. Today marks the beginning of an incredible journey. As you don your white coats and step into the world as physicians, remember that you are not alone. You are part of a vast and supportive community that believes in you and stands beside you. Congratulations, class of 2024. We are immensely proud of you, and we cannot wait to see the remarkable impact you will have on the world. Go forth with confidence, compassion, and the unwavering belief that you have the power to change lives. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Carruthers. I would now like to introduce Shelby Warren, today's speaker from the graduating class of 2024. Shelby grew up in San Luis Obispo County, California, and graduated from UC Davis in 2017, where she double majored in Spanish and neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. During medical school, Shelby held various positions in the advocacy organization Students for a National Health Program, served as a co-manager in the student-run free clinic, and was the training director for the Medical Student Accessible Peer Support Program. Upon matriculation, Shelby was selected to be part of the Prime Health Equity track, and as part of this dual degree program, she obtained a Master of Science in Healthcare Management from Johns Hopkins Carey Business School. Shelby was nominated by her peers and endorsed by the School of Medicine faculty as a member of the Gold Humanism Society. She was also selected as the 2024 recipient of the Roderick K. Calverley Humanitarian Service Award. Shelby is thrilled to be continuing her medical training as a resident in psychiatry at George Washington University Hospital in Washington, D.C. Please join me in welcoming Shelby Warren.
A wise woman once said to me, "Compassion starts before bedside manner." Compassion starts when you look at the chart and you say to yourself, I have a human being that I am thinking about through this chart. What do I do to make this person a person? And how do I bring this service to them as I know how and bring along the team with it as I give love and prescribe medication? In 2020, I had an eye-opening opportunity to conduct research through the Denny T. Sanford Institute for Empathy and Compassion. The goal of our project was to understand what compassion meant to members of the Black American community in San Diego. With permission, I share this research participant's quote because I believe that this wisdom captures the core principles that define physicianhood. Allow me to explain. She says, compassion begins before bedside manner. Now I'd like to ask for a quick show of hands. If the person that you're here to celebrate today is one of the most compassionate people you know, please raise your hand. No less than expected, we're completely surrounded by compassion. While we, the class of 2024, come from many different backgrounds, it's truly compassion and service to humanity that unites us. This human quality often means different things to different people, but I do want to talk a little bit about what the research participants taught us about compassion. They taught us that compassion is founded in respect. They taught us that compassion is more about action than intention. And they taught us that the most compassionate physicians are the ones who express interest in their patients' lives outside of just the clinic. So what is the wise woman's next teaching? She says, never forget the humanity in medicine. Without patients, none of us would be here in this amphitheater. She urges us to ask ourselves, what do I personally need to do to see this patient as a human being and not just another visit, not just another procedure? To do this well, it's important that we honor the many differences that we have with our patients. Our patients will come to us with diversity in essentially every aspect of their lives. And they will also come to us facing enormous healthcare inequities. We can't choose which systemic barriers our patients face, but what we certainly have a choice over is our attitude as we partner with our patients to navigate these challenges. That's why every clinical encounter is truly an opportunity to become a better physician. So how can we approach every patient, every human being with humility, curiosity, and respect? And how do we make sure that they have a care environment so that they can feel safe to share their values and their needs and goals with us? Let us not forget that they are trusting us with their lives. Prioritizing teamwork is the third piece of advice the wise woman offers. She says, how can I bring along the rest of the team? She reminds us that we physicians get to set the tone for the relationships we have, not just with patients, but with members of our interdisciplinary team. The nurses, technicians, administrators, environmental services staff, chaplains, and other allied health professionals are truly our biggest allies. Medicine, much like teamwork, is about working alongside others, giving our best, but at the same time, acknowledging our weaknesses. How can we seek the support of our teammates to better ourselves so that we can provide even better care? And how do we translate this team mindset into an even grander scale? The need for physician teamwork in research, business, administration, policy, and advocacy is absolutely enormous. Imagine the impact your guys' teamwork is just going to make in the future. Finally, the wise woman asks, how do I bring along the team to give love? Love is a healing force. I believe that we best heal others when we've healed ourselves, so I'm going to take the next bit of the speech to talk about love directed inward. There is a famous story by the late poet Shel Silverstein called The Giving Tree. And the story talks about a boy in an apple tree, and over the course of the boy's life, the apple tree gives him everything it possibly can. It gives him apples, it gives him shade from the sun, and it eventually even gives him his own wood. And by the end of the story, the apple tree is no more than a withered stump. It goes without saying that the giving tree gave way too much. We are entering a part of our careers that will at times push us to the limits, and we may at times relate to the apple tree. So how do we strike a healthy balance? I don't have the answer because it's very personal, but what I do know is that self-love is a foundation for human development and human flourishing. Investing in ourselves with good nutrition, adequate sleep, healthy movement, as well as social and spiritual care practices is going to help us build that integral foundation of self-love. Our relationship with ourselves, if you truly think about it, is the longest and most important relationship that we will ever have. As my speech ends, I hope to leave you with a few nuggets to keep in mind. Regarding compassion, when residency gets tough, remember all of those who just raised their hands here to celebrate you and your compassionate nature. Regarding humanity, remember that behind every patient chart, there's a human being that deserves dignity. Regarding teamwork, remember that medicine is truly a team sport at both a personal and systemic level. And regarding love, remember that no act of self-love is an act wasted. And please don't give so much of yourself that you become a stump. I'm truly honored to be your classmates, and each and every one of you are going to be amazing healers that you set out to be. And you're all going to make a huge impact in this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shelby, for that beautiful speech. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Jeffrey Krebs, today's alumni speaker. Dr. Jeffrey Krebs graduated from the UC San Diego School of Medicine in 1986. He completed his formal internal medicine residency at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles in 1989. And after 17 years practicing primary care internal medicine, Dr. Krebs pursued a career in hospital medicine and has been a hospitalist for the past 17 years. Since his first Intro to Clinical Medicine course in medical school, he's been very interested in the doctor-patient relationship and has advocated for culturally responsible, compassionate, and empathetic medical care. In his spare time, Dr. Krebs is also an elite competitive athlete, racing Ironman triathlons and marathons around the world and winning many of them.
Thank you so much, Dean Daniel. Good morning. It is truly an honor for me to be here with all of you today. To the graduates, congratulations on your admirable achievement of graduating from the UCSD School of Medicine. As a fellow alumnus, I share in your excitement and pride on this very momentous occasion. I remember sitting in your seat 38 years ago yesterday, feeling a mix of emotions, excitement, pride, and a bit of apprehension. I knew that my life was about to change forever, and I'm sure that you all feel the same way right now. You are entering one of the noblest professions in the world, one in which the doctor-patient relationship is the foundation of everything we do. Patients trust us to care for them with compassion and empathy. During the early days of the pandemic, we saw firsthand how important these qualities really are in doing our jobs, even in the most challenging and formidable circumstances. You have all proven yourselves to be adaptable and resilient, and I have no doubt that you will continue to provide excellent care to your patients no matter what challenges lie ahead. Taking care of our patients can be emotionally and physically taxing. So it's important that we remember to take care of ourselves as well. One of my most significant mentors I had while in medical school, a cardiologist at the VA Medical Center, was delivering his lecture about congestive heart failure to us in the second year when he stated, and I quote, "This is both interesting and relevant, so it will not be on the exam." If you know, you know. But this same mentor came to my graduation from UCSD School of Medicine, and afterwards, he told me to remember that medicine is my career, my passion, and my calling, but that there is more to life than just work. By that, he meant that it's important to find balance in life and to pursue the things that make you happy and well-rounded. Whether it's participating in sports, music, art, gardening, or cooking, make time for the things that bring you joy. Taking care of yourself is crucial so that you can then take care of your patients. As a member of the Board of Directors for the UCSD School of Medicine Alumni Association, I am honored to welcome you to our family. The Alumni Association is here for you for the rest of your lives. Medicine is challenging, but definitely rewarding, and we are here to support you through the ups and downs, all of it. Whether you need advice, mentorship, or just social interaction, you can count on us. The Alumni Association is proud of you for your achievements and your dedication to your patients' lives. We also hope that you'll consider giving back to the School of Medicine community in the future when you're able. And I'm not just talking about money. Your mentorship, support, and teaching will be invaluable to future generations of medical students and graduates. We would love for you to participate in the programs of your Alumni Association. Congratulations again, and welcome to our family.
Thank you, Dr. Krebs. Now, it is my great honor to introduce UC San Diego School of Medicine's 2024 commencement speaker from the Indiana University School of Medicine, Dr. Laura Vater. Laura Vater is an oncologist at the Indiana University Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dr. Vater is also an advocate for clinician health, a TEDx speaker, and a writer. She's a member of the Pegasus Physician Writers at Stanford University and has published a number of narrative medicine essays. In 2022, her writing was featured in Pulitzer Prize-winning author Anna Quinlan's book, Write for Your Life. She also developed a tool to help patients and clinicians prioritize their health, the SMILE scale. Welcome, Dr. Vater.
Hello and thank you to the dean, distinguished faculty, family, friends, and graduates. Thank you for inviting me to speak today, and congratulations, new doctors. You're entering what I believe is the best profession. 7 years ago, I was sitting where you're sitting. I was graduating from medical school, and my daughter was 9 months at the time. I see some of you in the back with little ones. Soon she'll be starting 2nd grade, and she's here today. She wants to be a vet. I'm sure many of you are aware of a recent commencement address that suggested a woman's greatest value to society was to forego a career and stay at home. I can say without hesitation, women, you can be great mothers and have successful careers too. These are not mutually exclusive. Today, I'd like to share 5 lessons from my training and practice as an oncologist that I hope will help carry you through the next phase of your career. First, remember that your job as a resident is to learn. You won't know everything. Be kind to yourself on this path. As you start intern year, you'll rotate through a new specialty every 4 weeks. For me as an intern, this looked like 1 month in the intensive care unit, another on internal medicine wards, and another in cardiology, and so on. You're essentially switching jobs every 4 weeks, while your attending physicians have been in those specialties for years. Remember that it's normal to feel overwhelmed. Be curious, soak in the knowledge, ask questions, view every rotation as a piece of the larger puzzle that will make you a better doctor. And be kind to yourself as you learn. Remember that you won't be an expert after 4 weeks, and no one expects you to be. Knowledge is gained through experience, and this experience can't be rushed. Second, don't wait to be happy until you finish training. Find joy now. As a medical student, I remember thinking, once I match and then graduate, then I'll be happy. Then as an intern, I thought, when I'm done with residency, then I'll be happy. Then as a fellow, I thought the same thing. When I'm done with fellowship, then I'll be happy. Does this sound familiar to any of you? In medical training, we often fall prey to this arrival fallacy, this belief that once we reach a goal, we can finally relax and be happy. But I have to tell you, it's a lie. Happiness doesn't come from reaching a pinnacle of achievement, but from a deep presence in the here and now. Find joy along the journey. Connect with people. Find purpose in each day. Be present and be grateful for your progress, no matter how small, and celebrate the wins along the way. Third, the way you care for patients matters deeply. Hold on to your empathy with both hands. In this work, we care for patients in the most vulnerable moments of their lives. I have walked to the ER to admit a patient after a minor car accident, only to learn she had widespread cancer, on the scans. Patients come to the hospital on what is usually the worst day of their lives, and sometimes it can be worse than they even imagined. Our patients need us to support them no matter what they face. We cannot always save, but we can always care. And the way we care for our patients matters deeply. They need our kindness. They need our humanity. They need us to sit down, to slow down, to be present. They need us to put aside the things that threaten to steal our attention. They need us to use clear words. They need us to support them as they navigate through the challenges of illness. Trust your instincts to show compassion and hold on to this instinct as tightly as you can. Fourth, caring for your mental and physical health is just as important as learning the clinical skills of medicine. This work we do is important, but it can take a toll on us. We face long working hours, sleep loss, and stress. Sometimes we may feel our vitality wearing thin. Add to this that a normal day for us isn't normal at all. We witness illness, trauma, and another person's final breaths. Remember that caring for yourself is a skill as important as interpreting a lab test or stitching a suture. Do something each day that restores you, even if it's for 2 minutes. For me, that's laughing with the people I love, going outside, petting my dog, talking to my therapist, writing, and reading books that inspire me. Above all else, remember that you're a human being and you matter. You are more than a career. You are a daughter, a son, a spouse, a friend, a parent. The people who care about you, they love you because of who you are, not what you do. Don't forget your humanity along this journey. For the fifth and final lesson, connection with patients will sustain you. One weekend last year, I was called to see a new patient. He had pancreatitis, and on his scans, they just happened to see a mass in his colon. He was in pain, overwhelmed, and discouraged. I spent time getting to know him and his wife, and I shared how we'd support him going forward. Over the ensuing months, he received treatment under my care, and I saw him again last week for follow-up. He was a new person, active, strong, free of pain. I looked at his CT scans and exhaled when I saw there were no signs of cancer. I relayed the good news to him and his wife. Before I walked out the door, he stopped me. "My wife and I want to thank you," he said. "Since the first day we met you, we felt supported. You paid attention to the little things and cared about us as people." There will be incredible wins in your career where you help someone feel better or cure their disease. It may be that you listen when no one else does, or that a person trusts you with information they just can't tell anyone else. These successes will not be published in the medical literature. They will not result in awards, fame, or wealth. And they may be as simple as a family that stops you on your way out the door to say a sincere word of thanks. These are the moments that matter. If you connect with your patients and care for them as people, you will never reach the end of your career and wonder if you did something meaningful with your life. As you enter this next phase of your life, hold on to your empathy. Find joy on the journey. Remember that you're a human being first and much more than a career. And remember that connection with patients is what makes all of this worthwhile. To the class of 2024, I wish you health. I wish you joy. I wish you meaningful careers as doctors. Today is June 2nd, and today you graduate, And my friends, the field of medicine is better because you are in it. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Vader, for those inspiring words. I now have the great pleasure of announcing the recipient of the UC San Diego School of Medicine Dean's Award for Excellence in Teaching. This award was developed to recognize a faculty member who excels in multiple facets of medical education, including excellence in teaching or mentorship and outstanding innovation or scholarship, with a sustained record of meritorious service to the educational mission of the School of Medicine. And this year, we are thrilled to present this award to Dr. Helen Wang. Now you get to stand here when I say nice things about you. Dr. Helen Wang is an associate clinical professor in the Department of Pediatrics. She co-directs the third-year Clinical Transitions Week and serves as a leader and instructor in multiple programs within the School of Medicine as well as the Pediatrics residency. Dr. Wang's commitment to teaching and mentorship is renowned among the pediatric residents, and her peers reflect that her students become better clinicians after working with her. Her contributions to curriculum development are significant, all the more so because of the way that she engages active student and resident participation in these efforts. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Wang for this well-deserved honor. Congratulations again, Dr. Wang. And now I would like to welcome my colleague, Dr. Sean Evans, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education.
The Kaiser Excellence in Teaching Awards are given to School of Medicine faculty who excel in their work as preclinical or clinical instructors. The awards are made possible by a 1974 grant to the university from the Kaiser Foundation hospitals to express the high regard held by the physicians and administrators of the Kaiser Permanente Medical Care Program for the UC San Diego School of Medicine. The winners are selected by each class of medical students. Will the faculty receiving the awards come to the podium as I announce your names? The first year class selected Dr. Jeffrey Noel from the Department of Anatomy and Surgery. The second year class selected Dr. Jeffrey Gold from the Department of Neuroscience. The third year class selected Dr. Julia Cormano from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and Reproductive Sciences. The graduating class selected Dr. Michelle Wu from the Department of Psychiatry. Dr. Wu was not able to join us today. The Kaiser Award is also given to outstanding members of the House staff who have distinguished themselves in the teaching of third and fourth year medical students. Will the following House staff members selected by the third and fourth year classes please come forward when I announce your name? Dr. Jedediah Bell from the Department of Medicine and Pediatrics. And Dr. Samara Soros from the Department of Medicine and Pediatrics. Congratulations to the Kaiser Award winners.
Chancellor Khosla will now confer the Doctorate of Philosophy to our Medical Scientist Training Program graduates.
Okay, finally, why you all came here. Okay, so the Doctor of Philosophy degree recognizes the independent completion of an important research project under the guidance of a mentor, also called a faculty member. It recognizes the generation of new knowledge that may someday alter patient care. In this way, the PhD differs fundamentally from the emphasis on the acquisition of scientific knowledge and clinical skills that characterize the MD degree. Thus, the MD PhD recipient we honor at this ceremony has truly demonstrated intense mastery of one topic. He or she has made sacrifices deserving of special recognition. Candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, please rise. Okay. Not done yet. As candidates for the degree, Doctor of Philosophy, you have voluntarily submitted yourself to the traditional disciplines that become the scholar in the pursuit of knowledge and have proven yourself worthy of this high calling. So, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the University of California Regents and the President, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations. And now, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Judy Kim, the Senior Associate Dean, and now the Interim Dean of the Division of Graduate Education and Postdoctoral Affairs. Dr. Kim will present the PhD candidates. Dr. Kim.
Thank you, Chancellor Khosla. It is my pleasure to introduce the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy. Are we ready? Jason William Adams is being hooded by Dr. Paul Insall from the Department of Medicine and Pharmacology. His doctoral thesis is entitled Loss of GTF2I Promotes Synaptic Dysfunction and Impaired Connectivity in Human Cellular Models of Neurodevelopment. I may have been too eager. This is Dr. Jason William Adams. Oh, now I'm behind. Thank you. Okay. Joanna Coker is being hooded by Dr. Philip Gortz from the Department of Medicine. Her doctoral thesis is entitled Exploring the Metaorganism, Utilizing the Microbiome to Improve Human Health. This is fun. Erin Cunahan is being hooded by Dr. Ann Cowell from the Department of Medicine. Her doctoral thesis is entitled An Aptamer-Based Sensor for the Detection of Anti-Malarial Drugs. Andrea Marie Dickey is being hooded by Dr. Samara Reck Peterson from the Department of Cellular and Molecular Medicine. Her doctoral thesis is entitled Mechanism of Parkinson's Disease-Linked LRRK2 Microtubule Binding. Kung Ba Din is being hooded by Dr. Rachel Dutton from the Department of Biology. Her doctoral thesis is entitled Examining Extrachromosomal Elements in Fermented Food Microbiomes, Leveraging Long Roads to Characterize Plasmids and Viruses. Bethany Rose Fixon is being hooded by Dr. Christopher Glass from the Department of Cellular and Molecular Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Regulation and Function of SALL1 in Mouse Microglia. Emily Folano-Ho is being hooded by Dr. Paul Insel from the Department of Medicine and Pharmacology. The doctoral thesis is entitled Androgen Receptor in Kisspeptin Cells is Necessary for Reproductive Phenotypes Following Prenatal Anti-Mullerian Hormone Exposure. James Hacker is being hooded by Dr. Bing Ren from the Department of Cellular and Molecular Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Using Single-Cell Epigenomic Analysis to Reveal Mechanisms of Complex Disease, from the Heart to the Whole Human Body. Evan Masataka Masutani is being hooded by Dr. Albert Shao from the Department of Radiology. His doctoral thesis is entitled Deep Learning Image Synthesis for MRI, from Super Resolution to Cardiovascular Biomechanics. Quinn Fang Nguyen is being hooded by Dr. Mary Lewinsky from the Department of Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Elucidating the Developmental Origins and Transcriptional Programming of CD4+ Tissue, resident memory T cells into antiviral immunity. Megan Pagadala is being hooded by Dr. Hannah Carter from the Department of Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Using Germline Variation to Study Inter-Individual Variability in Cancer Risk and Host Anti-Tumor Immune Response. Maribel Patino is being hooded by Dr. Edward Calloway from the Department of Neuroscience. The doctoral thesis is entitled Improving and Assessing Monosynaptic Rabies Tracing as a Tool for Cortical Circuit Tracing. Junmi Mayuri Saikia is being hooded by Dr. Binghai Zhang from the Department of Neuroscience. The doctoral thesis is entitled The Neuron-Specific Roles of Dual Leucine Zipper Kinase and Leucine Zipper Bearing Kinase in Axonal Repair Following Central Nervous System Injury. Erica Nicole Silva is being hooded by Dr. Trey Eidecker from the Department of Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Data-Driven Approaches to Understand Cancer-Related Phenotypes. Albert Sanghoon Song is being hooded by Dr. Gabriel Lender from the Department of Integrative Structural and Computational Biology. The doctoral thesis is entitled Mitochondrial Proteases, an integrated system to identify, endure, and respond to stress. Ben Suda is being hooded by Dr. Paul Insel from the Department of Medicine and Pharmacology. The doctoral thesis is entitled Towards Understanding Diseases of Memory and Learning, Artificial Neural Network Models of Memory Formation, Manipulation, and Disease in the Brain. Helen Wang is being hooded by Dr. Edward Calloway from the Department of Neuroscience. The doctoral thesis is entitled Organization of Spatiotemporal Frequency Tuning in the Mouse Visual System. Lawrence Wang is being hooded by Dr. Ann Cowell from the Department of Medicine. The doctoral thesis is entitled Development of Human Monoclonal Antibodies Against Plasmodium falciparum. This concludes the conferral of the Doctor of Philosophy degree. I now return the ceremony to Dean Daniel. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. Luis Castellanos, Director of the Program in Medical Education, Health Equity, to the podium to introduce the graduating Prime Health Equity students.
Thank you, Dean Daniel. And good morning, everyone. The Program in Medical Education, Health Equity is a health program whose main goal is to educate our medical students in health disparities, social determinants of health, and help them become physician leaders in order to improve the care of vulnerable groups in underserved communities. In addition to completing a medical degree, each student is required to obtain a master's degree in a discipline of their own choice. I will now introduce each Prime graduate and ask that they stand and remain standing to be recognized as their name is called. Aaron Buckner, Master in Public Health, University of California, Berkeley School of Public Health. Ivan Armando Copado, Master of Public Health, University of California, Berkeley School of Public Health. Patrick Lohr, Master of Health Professions Education, University of Illinois, Chicago. Chelsea Maduke, Master of Public Health, Yale School of Public Health. Fernanda Pacheco, Master of Advanced Studies in Clinical Research, UC San Diego Graduate School. Martina Peñalosa, Master of Public Health, Johns Hopkins University, Bloomberg School of Public Health. Naya Rodman, Master of Public Health, Emory University, Rollins School of Public Health. Isaac Sada, Master of Business Administration, Baylor University, Hankomer School of Business. Isaac Solomon, Master of Public Health, Harvard T. Chan School of Public Health. And Shelby Warren, Master of Science in Healthcare Management, Johns Hopkins Carey School of Business. Congratulations to our graduating UC San Diego Prime Health Equity students.
Thank you, Dr. Castellanos. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sarah Auerbach, Director of the Global Health Academic Concentration, to introduce the graduating Global Health students.
Thank you, Dean Daniels. The Global Health Academic Concentration is a program that aims to provide students with the knowledge and experiences necessary to prepare them for careers in global health by learning about the complexities and challenges of global health care delivery and the social determinants of global health care inequities. In addition to completing a medical degree, each student is required to complete requisite coursework and 2 global mentored health rotations. This class's first year of travel was impacted by COVID, so they participated remotely or focused on the health of asylum seekers and refugees here on the US-Mexico border, and I commend them for their flexibility. I would like to now introduce each of the Global Health Academic Concentration students, ask them to stand and remain standing, and be recognized when their name is called. Sophie Gomans, research performed remotely in Mumbai, India. Clinical rotation in Costa Rica. Melody Nazarbegyan, research performed in Maharashtra, India. Clinical rotation on the US-Mexico border. Jenna Powell, research performed in the US-Mexico border and clinical rotation in Tijuana, Mexico. Nicholas Rice, research performed on the US-Mexico border and clinical rotation in Dhulikhel, Nepal. Alex Tirana, research performed in refugee health in San Diego and clinical rotation on the US-Mexico border. And Lawrence Wang, research performed in Bugogi, Uganda, clinical rotation in Dhulikhel, Nepal. Congratulations to the Global Health Academic Concentration graduates. I'm so proud of you.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Kama Galuma, Associate Dean for Admissions and Student Affairs, to present the class of 2024 to Chancellor Khosla, who will confer the medical degrees.
Thank you, Dean Daniels. Chancellor Khosla, I have the honor of presenting the 53rd graduating class from the UC San Diego School of Medicine.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something more. All right. I thought he was going to say how great they are. Well, I will say how great they are. So candidates for the Doctor of Medicine, please rise. You have submitted yourselves to the intellectual and emotional disciplines that become the scholar in the pursuit of knowledge and the healer of the sick. You have proved yourselves worthy of this high calling. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the University of California Regents and the President, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medicine. Congratulations.
Okay, class, you may be seated. We will now start the part of the ceremony wherein each graduate receives the Doctor of Medicine hood from a chosen faculty member. Let me take a moment, as we're setting up here, to explain the graduation attire. Academic dress dates back to the 12th century, when the wearing hoods and robes originated out of a need to keep warm in unheated buildings. We don't really have that much of a problem in California, but maybe today. Now they serve to keep us warm in sunny Southern California. Later, the hoods became used as a way to differentiate and recognize various grades of scholars. Our students and faculty are wearing doctoral gowns, which are distinguished from bachelor and master's gown by the bell sleeves, velvet panels down the front, velvet chevrons on the sleeves. The academic hoods utilize colors to signify both the academic institution as well as the degree earned. The hoods for the MD degree have Kelly green velvet or velveteen trim, the color signifying medicine. The PhD hoods have a dark blue velvet, regardless of the field in which the PhD was obtained. These are colors specific to the United States. The satin within the hood signifies the institution by color. our students will be proudly wearing the blue and gold of the University of California. Graduates, as I announce your names, please follow the directions by the staff members to join the faculty on stage to accept your hood and receive your certificate from Vice Chancellor Carruthers and Dean Daniel. It looks like we are ready. Okay. So let's get started. First up, Gilbert Acosta, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Harmin Singh Bra, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Kiana Brown, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy in the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Aaron Buckner, who's being hooded by Dr. Giulio Carmano from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Sheridan Chapo, who's being hooded by Dr. Desiree Shapiro from the Department of Psychiatry. Selena Chen, who's being hooded by Dr. Therese Orme, Department of Dermatology. Ivan Copado, who's being hooded by Dr. Luis Castellanos from the Department of Medicine. Jonathan Hong, who's being hooded by Dr. Heather Pierce from the Department of Pediatrics. Henry Horita, who's being hooded by Dr. Rodney Gabriel from the Department of Anesthesiology. Evan Jensen, who's being hooded by Dr. John Finnerman from the Department of Anesthesiology. Nanki Kaur, who's being hooded by Dr. Michelle Johnson from the Department of Family Medicine. Kylie Kerbach, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Chelsea Maduke, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Fernanda Pacheco, who's being hooded by Dr. Tony Lopez from the Department of Medicine. Justine Pannion, who's being hooded by Dr. Durana McKay from the Department of Medicine. Martina Peñalosa, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Billy Peng, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Samuel Polinsky, who's being hooded by Dr. Helen Wang from the Department of Pediatrics. Mokshan Ramachandran, who's being hooded by Dr. Mahmoud Smalas from the Department of Vascular Surgery. Naya Rodman, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Jan Rong, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Dennis Roth, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Isaac Sada, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Gabriella Sendek, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Hinchcliffe from the Department of Surgery. Isaac Solomon, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Shelby Warren, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Jimmy Yu, who's being hooded by Dr. James Murphy from the Department of Radiation Medicine and Applied Sciences. Caitlin Belza, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez from the Department of Emergency Medicine. Michelle Chen, who's being hooded by Dr. Gregory Seaman from the Department of Medicine. Sophie Gomez, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez from the Department of Emergency Medicine. Leah Howitt, who's being hooded by Dr. Ana Garcia in family medicine. Armita Kadivar, who's being hooded by Dr. Kristen Cadenhead from the Department of Psychiatry. Jessica Kern, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in emergency medicine. Michael Loricella, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Katia Lazar, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Abian Mamafara, who's being hooded by Dr. Natalie Rodriguez in the Department of Family Medicine. Melody Nazarbaryan, who's being hooded by Dr. Weena Joshi in the Department of Pediatrics. Shrita Pendakanti, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Jenna Powell, who's being hooded by Dr. Eugene Goltz in the Department of Surgery. Miranda Rasmussen, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Nicholas Rice, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Nicole Rigler, who's being hooded by Dr. Sheila Modi in the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Jennifer Sway, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Alec Tirana, who's being hooded by Dr. Desiree Shapiro in the Department of Psychiatry. Connor Trim, who's being hooded by Dr. Brian Clary in the Department of Surgery. Sophia Shao, who's being hooded by Dr. Eric Adler in the Department of Medicine. Colton Applegarth, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi in the Department of Neurological Surgery. Shreya Banerjee, who's being hooded by Dr. Lawrence Mott from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Victoria Bird, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Brannon Cha, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Kevin Din, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Taiwo Dodo Williams, who's being hooded by Dr. Yahir Santiago Lastra from the Department of Urology. Isabella Dolendo, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Ashley Du, who's being hooded by Dr. Laura Crotty Alexander from the Department of Medicine. Simran Gidwani, who's being hooded by Dr. Michelle Johnson from the Department of Family Medicine. Arya Jahan, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Margaret Johnson, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Olivia Lamont, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Christine Lin, who's being hooded by Dr. Helen Wang from the Department of Pediatrics. Veronica Lin, who's being hooded by Dr. Arti Balu from the Department of Medicine. Amy Liu, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Tan Luong, who's being hooded by Dr. Amanda Gosman from the Department of Surgery. Shadi Malik, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Gatas Malki, who's being hooded by Dr. Jeffrey Schwimmer from the Department of Pediatrics. Raneem Mukatrin, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Nicholas Wu, who's being hooded by Dr. Anna Kwan from the Department of Medicine. Tiffany Xingxing Zhang, who's being hooded by Dr. Joseph Chachi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Jason Adams, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Sadaf Chowdhury, who's being hooded by Dr. Tony Lopez from the Department of Medicine. Kevin Chen, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Joanna Coker, who's being hooded by Dr. Mary Lewinsky from the Department of Medicine. Erin Kunahan, who's being hooded by Dr. Ann Cowell from the Department of Medicine. Manjuri Daniel, who's being hooded by Dr. Alexander Kalesi from the Department of Neurological Surgery. Andrea Dickey, who's being hooded by Dr. Mary Lewinsky from the Department of Medicine. Kung Din, who's being hooded by Dr. Neil Chi from the Department of Medicine. Oh, okay. Looks like Dr. Natalie Rodriguez from the Department of Family Medicine. Bethany Fixon, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Grace Funari, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez from the Department of Emergency Medicine. Geraldine Gobrecht, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Emily Ho, who's being hooded by Dr. Paul Insel from the Departments of Medicine and Pharmacology. James Hocker, who's being hooded by Dr. Neil Chi from the Department of Medicine. Vincent Hua, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Elizabeth Lee, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Jesus Lopez, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Heather Lystad, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Siddharth Machiraju, who's being hooded by Dr. Kirsten Cadenhead from the Department of Psychiatry. Brennan Marsh Armstrong, who's being hooded by Dr. Jeffrey Tully from the Department of Anesthesiology. Evan Masutani, who's being hooded by Dr. Lucas Hiller from the Department of Radiology. Quinn Nguyen, who's being hooded by Dr. Darcy Wooten from the Department of Medicine. Tiffany Nguyen, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Meghana Pagadala, who's being hooded by Dr. Tyler Siebert in the Department of Radiation Oncology. Maribel Patino, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Junmi Saikia, who's being hooded by Dr. Benjamin Supat from the Department of Emergency Medicine. Erica Silva, who's being hooded by her husband, Dr. Benjamin Supat from the Department of Emergency Medicine. Albert Song, who's being hooded by Dr. Albert Xiao from the Department of Radiology. Ben Tsuda, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Helen Wang, who's being hooded by Dr. Lori Wan from the Departments of Medicine and Pediatrics. Lawrence Wang, who's being hooded by Dr. Ann Cowell from the Department of Medicine. Heidi Ban, who's being hooded by Dr. Desiree Shapiro from the Department of Psychiatry. Madison Chakomakos, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters, the Department of Medicine. Alice Cisneros, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Claire Conklin, who's being hooded by Dr. Audra Meadows from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Jessica Dallaripa, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters from the Department of Medicine. Ryan Diggs, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Anthony Michael Diomino, who's being hooded by Dr. Kirsten Cadenhead in the Department of Psychiatry. Eric Ellerin, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Leila Esfandiari, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Suma Gudipati, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Wait, did they turn it on? Okay, I'll just keep going there. Caroline Gutierrez, being hooded by Dr. Natalie Rodriguez in the Department of Family Medicine. Rachel Hartzell, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Christina Nguyen, who's being hooded by Dr. Mario Rosario Araneta from the Department of Family Medicine. Jason Letty, who's being hooded by Dr. Jorge Fernandez in the Department of Emergency Medicine. David Mariano, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters, Department of Medicine. Ian Matthews, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Anna Michelle, who's being hooded by Dr. Jeffrey Schwimmer in the Department of Pediatrics. Alexana Nathan, who's being hooded by Dr. Catherine Winters in the Department of Medicine. Amanda Nguyen, who's being hooded by Dr. Helen Wang in the Department of Pediatrics. Kylie Rucker, who's being hooded by Dr. Michelle Johnson in the Department of Family Medicine. Harrison Suh, who's being hooded by Dr. Roddy Gabriel in the Department of Anesthesiology. Allison Wan Zhang, who's being hooded by Dr. Justin Wang from Internal Medicine. Jessica Olmaraj, who's being hooded by Dr. Natalie Rodriguez from the Department of Family Medicine. Dale Norton Bongbong, who's being hooded by Dr. Maria Rosario Araneta from the Department of Family Medicine. John Kevin Diao, who's being hooded by Dr. Helen Wang from the Department of Pediatrics. Morgan Desjardins, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Austin Du, who's being hooded by Dr. Rodney Gabriel from the Department of Anesthesiology. Claudio Getty, who's being hooded by Dr. Alexandra Schwartz from the Department of Orthopedic Surgery. Urvi Gupta, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Austin Hainsworth, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Timothy Heinz, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Visesha Kakarla, who's being hooded by Dr. Jay Best from the Department of Psychiatry. Abraham Kim, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Karen Leung, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Gerardo Pedrosa, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Gautam Ramesh, who's being hooded by Dr. Praveen Akutota from the Department of Medicine. Ari Sang, who's being hooded by Dr. Rodney Gabriel from the Department of Anesthesiology. Nicole Sun, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fragoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Marianne Villarreal Gonzalez, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Forgoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. Hubert Vu, who's being hooded by Dr. Julie Chalabi from the Department of Family Medicine. Kendall Wallace Line, who's being hooded by Dr. Gina Fergoni from the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest class we've ever had. Congratulations, class of 2024. Okay, our medical community is not only knowledgeable and accomplished, but they're talented as well, very talented. While we wait for our last graduates to have their photos taken and return to their seats, please allow me to introduce Dr. Katharina Brandl and welcome second-year pharmacy student Gabrielle Mock, who are going to perform something for us. They're going to perform La Foy by George Goldman in an arrangement for cello and keyboard. They're just getting set up here, and I really hope you enjoy this piece. So Katharina Brandl and Gabrielle Mock. Thank you.
Doctors. In just a few minutes, they will take the oath of Hippocrates, and I will delight in welcoming you, the UC San Diego School of Medicine class of 2024, as our newest colleagues into the profession of medicine. As you prepare to take the oath, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your personal why. The path to becoming a healer is not an easy path. It takes grit, commitment, resilience, and sacrifice. Medical school was hard. Residency will demand even more of you. So, as you begin the next phase of your journey, my advice to you is to set your why as your true north. Make sure that what you do and how you do it are all in the service to your why. For if you do this, you will be blessed. You will wake up each day inspired and go home each night fulfilled. And your life will be rich in meaning and purpose. Joy Golliver once said, "The meaning of life is to find your gifts, and the purpose of life is to give them away." When I was 10, my father was diagnosed with metastatic cancer, and my mom declared that she was not the nursing type. So I stepped in to care for him. As I loved my dad goodbye, I found my gifts. I was meant to care for the sick. I gave him my empathy and compassion. I helped him find joy amidst the pain. And I offered him my strength when his wore out. More recently, I brought our beloved Aunt Lulu home on hospice, and I served her gin and tonics. And we sang songs about the things that sag when you get old. And we reminisced about juggling the turkey giblets at Thanksgiving dinner and hiding it from our parents. Now, my husband said, "You know, you don't need to do this. We can hire someone to take care of her." And after a particularly long night, my brother-in-law told me, "I notice you always take on the worst jobs in this family. But from my perspective, they are the best jobs." Sharing my gifts as a healer, whether with family or with strangers, fills my cup and gives my life purpose. A few years ago, I met a man that I'll call Gary. Gary had saved for years to take his family on a cruise, and he was celebrating life with his 6 children and 14 grandchildren when he began to experience abdominal pain. And when the cruise ended, he came straight to the emergency department. And I knew before I saw the results of his CT that the news would be bad. He had widely metastatic pancreatic cancer and a few short months to live. He said, "Give it to me straight, Doc." He wanted to know exactly what was ahead so he could prepare his affairs to care for his family in death as he had in life. And in the middle of the night, I came back and I sat with Gary. I listened to his stories. We joked and we laughed. And as the sun came up that morning and I rose to go, he took my hand and he raised it to his lips and kissed it. I told the man he was dying, and he kissed my hand and said thank you. I went home that morning inspired by grace, feeling fulfilled. Medicine is my calling. Serving the sick is my why, my true north. So make your why your true north. Find your unique gifts and spend your life giving them away. You too will discover the secret of happiness. Thank you. Testing? Okay. Will the graduates please rise? To all assembled, the graduating class of 2024 will make the declaration of the Oath of Hippocrates. You may find the oath on page 2 of your commencement program. Graduates, please repeat after me as I read the oath. Now being admitted to the profession of medicine, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life in the service of humanity. I will give respect and gratitude to my deserving teachers. I will practice medicine with conscience and dignity. The health and life of my patient will be my first consideration. I will hold in confidence all that my patients confide in me. I will maintain the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. I will not permit consideration of race, gender, or religion. Nationality, ideology, or social standing. To intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life and its quality. And even under threat, I will not use my knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. These promises I make freely and upon my honor. Graduates, you may be seated. In just a moment, we will conclude the ceremony, and after the faculty and student recessional, I invite you all to join me for a reception just outside the amphitheater. The graduates will meet you there after assembling on the stage for the class photograph. So graduates, please follow your academic community directors and staff instructions to line up for that picture. Once you've taken your group photograph, please pick up your real diplomas in Pepper Canyon Hall. Before we end, I would like to invite Dr. Happy Araneta, Associate Dean for Diversity and Community Partnerships, to lead the class of 2024 in one final act of celebration.
Thank you. So before we do the hat toss, I just wanted to acknowledge the family and friends who are here. Our remarkable graduates speak 31 languages. So for the parents, family, and friends, we offer our appreciation and congratulations in this hopefully familiar message. Felicidades! Gongzi, badhaiho, elf mabruk, inquande sale, congratulazioni, chukmung, valtukal, mabeshomatabrik migim, ibalyala, parabéns, maayong paglampos, obinondon, hawabriha, eku orire, felicitation, chukaheo, badhaitsa, shnor havorumem, som op osato, mubarak ho, glückwunsch, gonghai, tanya, omerito, mazel tov, at maligayang bati. The tradition of tossing graduation caps in the air started at the U.S. Naval Academy when midshipmen graduated and received their officers' hats. So they tossed their old training hats in the air in celebration. This joyful gesture signifies the end and the beginning of a new chapter, symbolizing the end of your path as medical students and the beginning of your new journey as new physicians. So please stand. At the count of 3, grab your hats and toss them joyfully but gently and not too high. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2024, and welcome to the profession of medicine.